International Organization for Migration is one of several UN agencies and partners working in the area, providing facilitation to the people affected by the floods. According to their estimates, almost 9 million people have been displaced. The Director General of the organization, Mr. William Lacy Swing, is in Pakistan to assess the situation for himself. In an exclusive interview, he reflected on his visit and what he hoped to achieve. I think that's going to make a huge difference, because from what we were from my understanding, and your colleague here gave us a fantastic introduction to the situation on the ground, and just talking to people, they just feel so helpless right now and almost stunned. I mean, people who were extremely they were average, they weren't as poor as one would expect them to be. They have a better standard of living. They just have lost everything. And when I ask them what they miss most, they say, the women are saying they miss their homes because they don't really get to go out much. And they just miss that four walls of their house that they had.
It's the homes, and of course, in addition to that, this is a rural community. They miss their livelihoods. But you wiped out the granary, wiped out the whole season, the planting season for them. And so having now to get back on their feet, getting some of the soil back, getting seeds, all that it takes to make a living.
So what is your purpose of your visit? What is it exactly that you're hoping to go back with?
Look, my objectives were very simple, but two. One, I came essentially to express condolences to the people and the government of your country, and to show solidarity with them, even though we work in a very modest way. We're a small part of a larger chain. So that was the first thing, and then also to express appreciation to those on the ground, our colleagues here and others, our many partners here. We're one of probably 100 partners, including the whole UN system, the NGOs, particularly a lot of local NGOs who are doing a great job. And then secondly, I came to have a firsthand, as you are having, a firsthand appreciation of the kind of suffering that's going on, and to go back to our headquarters with a much better idea of what kind of support is needed here, and to, by my own means back in headquarters, to try to reinforce the appeal that's been made. As you know, we've gotten now about 60% of the Secretary General's appeal, the total amount he wanted. And I think that's the least I can do. And I'll come back at a later time to see again, but I thought it's better to come right now.
Has the magnitude of the situation struck you? Because when Haiti happened, people were able to access very quickly because it was a much smaller area. We're looking at almost 20 million people. And as one of the briefings that we got from the United Nations told us, this is the largest migration and displacement, and that's when your organization comes in. So are we prepared for what's going to happen next?
Well, I would certainly agree with you that the magnitude of the destruction and the damage is absolutely staggering. I think the Secretary General's description of it when he came here is I think, probably the best one, which is a slow-moving tsunami, because it's not over yet. Now you have the problems in the south. We understood that 1 million or more people have been displaced within the last 48 hours in the southern provinces there. So while as one works to fill the gap actually tends to grow larger. So I think the message that we all ought to take away from this is that for disasters such as this, you have to remain committed to stay the course, because this is not a short-term crisis. We have, everyone is now focused on the life-saving aspect, but as you can see from the distribution today, you're moving into a kind of a recovery period in which people can go back to reclaim their homes, rebuild their homes. And I think in these disasters you develop enormous admiration for people's courage and resilience in the midst of having lost basically everything. So I think it's an opportunity for us to stand by the Pakistan people.
And it also gives us as Pakistani an opportunity to thank the organizations like the United Nations for coming in and stepping in, because as we've been hearing every day, the government is just distraught. They have no idea which direction to go in, and having organizations that you like yours who sit in plan, and especially IOM who has been out in the field, and we've seen that in taking place in principle right here. You had a chance to meet with our president yesterday.
Yes.
What came out of those discussions?
Well, it was an honor for me to have this chance to meet with the president, and I appreciated the time he was able to give me. I wanted to reinforce the partnership that we've had here for about 30 years. It'll be 30 years next year. I wanted to reassure him that we appreciate the efforts the government has been making, and that the way in which they've supported us so that we could do what we do. I wanted to reaffirm our commitment to continue to work in Pakistan for many years to come. And although we are not all that large, we, within our own means, want to continue to do everything we can to see this crisis through. And I want to thank the government and all of its international partners for the effort that's being made. And I'll go back committed to try to get greater support for you.
Well, we actually have a message for you from the people who are at the camp. They're very grateful, because a lot of them have been have been just waiting under the sky, and they're extremely grateful to IOM for the facilitation, but they request that if somebody could send doctors to them, that would be very necessary, because they're really finding that that's the biggest challenge, but they're extremely grateful.
Right, on the health program. Yeah, that's very important.
Yes.
No, I think I guess the parting word I would have is that if you take as I mentioned, the characterization, the courage and resilience of the people, and the great effort that the government is making with its international partners, we should not The problem is it's so overwhelming that there's a tendency to throw up one's hands and say we can do nothing. No, it's not. We should be fortified by the efforts that have been made, the number of lives that have been saved through the efforts of the government and their partners to save life, and that should embolden us to go forward, encouraged, and to know that with determination this can be resolved.
Well, they have a very daunting task ahead of them, and I think with organizations like IOM stepping up to the plate gives them a bit of a shot in the arm that they really, really need right now. Thank you very much.
We're very honored to be part of this, and wish we could do more, and we'll try to do more.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Too proud to ask for help, the residents of Pir Sabik Tent Village reflect the situation of over 17 million people affected by the floods. The area is still quite close to a city and accessible. One can only imagine the situation in the remotest village, where roads are gone and bridges swept away. Medical assistance is absolutely crucial to ensure that epidemics are checked, or the floods would do a lot more than merely destroy homes.